TikTok is replacing YouTube as the top sponsor of VidCon.
Even this morning, I did see him commenting on TikTok and saying how TikTok makes more money than YouTube.
There are people who are going, well, maybe they're onto something, and people want information quickly. They want to be entertained, but they want it, served in a certain manner. It's really good. It pops up and it's like running through the window on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, it's doing these magical things on my computer. I have no idea what it is.
Like, it could have just been a screen saying it's doing it and doing absolutely nothing for all we knew.
Better time than now.
You're listening to the Radcast. If it's radical, we cover it. Here's your host, Ryan Alford.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. I'm Ryan Alford.
And I'm Josh Hill.
And we are here for your weekly marketing and advertising news update. Today is June 25th, 2021. It's my mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. If you're out there, wherever you are, if you were to be listening, she doesn't probably listen to my podcast, but she does say she listens occasionally, Josh. So,
that's great.
Yeah, we can't not shit in the shout outs to the moms,
Oh, yes. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mary Linda. She does have a double name. ML. She's a sprightly, I'm going to just tell how old you are, Mom. 69.
Wow.
So, coming up on a big 7-0 next year.
Nice.
Kind of gave her shit for that, but
That's a big one.
We celebrated last weekend, and I hope you're using your designer handbag that my wife bought you.
Nice.
But cool, man. How's it going? You had a good week?
Been a good week. Yeah. Really productive. Got a lot of stuff done. A lot of new campaigns launched, and great.
Yeah, it's been good. We've got a lot of new talent here at Radical. We got a couple of new copywriters, Morgan, Caroline, helping push the envelope of marketing and advertising for us here at Radical.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out.
Welcome aboard.
Hey, like good writing kind of is like the engine for creativity a bit. Like you've got design and you've got, websites and ads and all that, but it kind of is the unsung, maybe it's not unsung, but I feel like it's kind of gets lost sometimes, the importance of great writing and stimulating the creative process.
It's kind of it's like the one element that touches like the entire picture.
That's exactly right. So we're excited about that. Lots of good growth here at the agency. And I'm going to kick it off with this one, Josh. We talked a little bit pre-episode, but there was a New York Times report this week. For any of you Subway fans out there, I'm not a gigantic Subway fan. It's kind of like there's only by necessity typically. Like it's not bad, but if I'm going to have a sandwich, there's just other places I go.
Yeah.
And but a report from New York Times, they actually tested the tuna at Subways, and there was zero DNA for the tuna found in the Subway. I mean, under the guise of not surprising yet a little disappointing news of the week.
Right.
First reactions?
Subway can't catch a break. First off, from their previous spokespersons to their whole bread debacle, and then now to this. I've never had the tuna from Subway, but now I'm a little glad I haven't. But
yeah, I've had it. It's okay, and quite frankly, it tasted like every other tuna, fish. It's always got mayonnaise in it or something, and like it's just. I don't mind it. I like it, but it's never. There's always like 6 other choices ahead of it.
Oh, right.
And even growing up as a kid, I'm like, what kind of sandwich you want? Like you got tuna, I got this, that, the other, and it's always this, that, or the other.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to Subway, I'm getting either the spicy Italian or the magnificent meatball sub.
It's really underrated at Subway, and if you're hungry right now, just get hungrier. But the flatbread.
Oh yeah,
spicy BMT flatbread toasted.
Definitely
underrated. Underrated. Quite good. Quite delicious.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
And but then everything else, I'm kind of like, I'll pass on that. But yeah, 0% tuna. Subway came back and said, no, it's 100% wild caught tuna. From the shores of North Korea or wherever they get it from. I don't even know if they have tuna in North Korea, but it sounded good.
Yeah, it sounds great.
So yeah, thought that was interesting. And Amazon Prime weekend. I mean, I started getting the emails like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like pre-sale Prime Day pre-sale. Like they say it's a day. I feel like it's like Black Friday is no longer a day. It's like a weekend or a week. Like Prime Day is kind of like 4 day.
Oh, for sure. There's like lead up sales. They really prime themselves for Prime Day too.
Yes, they do. If my email and notifications or anything, I did buy a battery operated fan for the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a rechargeable fan. It's like nice. 16 inches. You can hook a hose to it.
That's fancy.
And it like mists on you.
That's
the 95-degree heat that's coming up in July here in South Carolina. I'm gonna fan it up a little.
Might be the summer purchase of the year.
Yeah, I know. But that was the only thing I bought on Prime Day, and it was just purely coincidental.
Yeah.
I was kind of going for the purchase anyway, and it happened to be one of the Prime deals. But I wasn't as interested, and I wondered, and I know you saw some stats on this. I wondered if maybe, I'm sure, I know e-commerce is going to grow year over year no matter what, but I kind of had a feeling, at least my own interest, and with everything opening back up from the pandemic and people getting out there and shopping and having other things to do, if we might see some drop off. I know you saw a few figures on that.
Yeah, this year was probably one of the slowest year over year growths of the last probably 10 years for Amazon Prime Day. Prime Day specifically, not Amazon's total sales. But,
right.
I think it's really telling of kind of where e-commerce boomed. I think there was a lot of sales happening throughout the year anyways. I think it kind of spread out. And then, like you said, people are going out. I know Prime Day usually is kind of like tech heavy and like home goods heavy. So I think people are starting to look elsewhere for gadgets and stuff.
And I wonder if because it felt like it was a 5-day event, not a 1-day event.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you spread, maybe the total ends up more, and I'm sure someone's going to go, well, they did it over 5 days, so they had to have gotten more sales. Okay, maybe. But by making it less scarce, because it felt like the deals were early and often, at least it felt that way.
Right.
That if that hurt, maybe the scarcity factor or the 1 day factor.
Very well could have. I know a friend texted me about what they bought on Prime Day, and I noticed, I was like, oh, I've got all day to do it. And then I just never went and looked again.
Yeah, I don't know. But any crazy hashtags or trends you're seeing on TikTok this week?
Oh man, there's so many. But one of my favorites recently has been the videos with there's the song Nobody by Mitski, and kind of disco-y, and someone's running away from the camera, and it says POV, someone's on the way to do something to you. So it's I've seen some where it's POV, I'm on the way to ask you about your zodiac sign or something, and you're just running I saw a couple kind of agency specific ones of POV, you're a graphic designer running away from the
AE giving you a project or something.
The 10 creative changes that the client made.
Yeah, I know. I have some neighbors that I would film myself running away from. Coming over to ask you something. Yes. Oh, right. See you later.
Yeah, that's a good one I've been seeing. It's my favorite so far.
I like it. Well, we talked a little news, but now we'll get to the official news. First, so I saw this. Thought it was interesting. TikTok is replacing YouTube as the top sponsor of VidCon. So we've got the platform wars are heating up, and I thought this was pretty telling and interesting with where we're at. I mean, obviously they can I guess if you're going to be a sponsor or something, you can outbid or something, but I thought it was pretty telling for maybe more the place, scale, and size of TikTok more than a knock on YouTube, because YouTube's still a fucking behemoth. But what? Any first reactions?
Yeah, I was really surprised by that. I know VidCon was co-founded by the Vlogbrothers, Hank and John Green, and Hank is one of the biggest creators on TikTok too. Yeah, and so I thought that was really interesting. Even this morning, I did see him commenting on TikTok and saying how TikTok makes more money than YouTube, but gives less to creators than YouTube does, which is a little interesting.
That's interesting.
I like that. I like seeing that parallel to the TikTok replacing them at his event.
Exactly. And, we didn't put this article up there, but related to it was just, I keep seeing the ever creeping higher role of streaming and video, like other sources of video in overall time spent throughout the day of consumers, just creeping up between streaming, between social platforms and everything else. I mean, yes, this falls in the, we know category. I'm sure people are paying attention, but I don't know that we're quite magnifying it to the level that it's actually happening.
Yeah. It's like, we know, but do we know the scale? Like, it's growing more and more. And I'm sure plenty of us were like, surely it can't get much bigger than this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and TV's like, I'm finding my own habits, like obviously, I mean, I'm 44 years old and like probably different than a millennial or someone else. But at the same time, like I still find myself like even the little bit of linear TV that I was, it is, I guarantee you, if you look 12 months over 12 months for me, it's probably at least 40% less.
Yeah.
And so just in my own habits and the people around me, I mean, between streaming and Netflix and, time on social channels and other things, I mean, it's just, I might catch 20 minutes of linear TV on average a day. And that's including like 3 hours on a Sunday when I'm watching golf on, like averaging it out. It probably falls like 10 minutes of actual during the week time. But and I mean, but you probably don't, you watch an hour of linear TV a week?
Maybe. Even if it's like, I don't have it. So it'd be like a TV at like work, like, or like a commercial at like a
bar or
something, like that.
Yeah. So anyway, but I thought that was interesting. Look, TikTok's a behemoth. I did see as well, unrelated, didn't have the article, but the saying that it's pretty much surpassed Snapchat now. Yeah. Like, as Snapchat's kind of had a little bit of a comeback and still has a place in as a platform. So I'm not like dissing it, but just showing that TikTok's kind of roaring past it in the overall presence of social platforms.
Yes.
Does that surprise you at all?
Yes and no. Here, like, it's kind of crazy. The like Snapchat, the comeback surprised me. But yeah, the way TikTok is just growing and just taking over everything, it's kind of like at this point, I'm kind of just like, yeah, it's just going to keep going.
The interesting thing for me with TikTok is not only the popularity and scale that it's gaining, but it's the way that it's changing, I think, the way people develop content holistically.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, yes, it has a specific format that's attention span driven, like, which is short, but I feel like you're seeing that translate to other media now.
Yeah.
Because there are people who are going, well, maybe they're onto something, and the content that works there, I'm not saying in its exact form works in other places, but I think there's just parts of that are transitioning into other places because people are realizing people want information quickly. They want to be entertained, but they want it, served in a certain manner.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm noticing in a lot of places where it's like more quick to the point. They're not doing these big lead ups. There's not these big like suspenseful, like you got to wait till next week. It's like it's there now.
Yeah. So interesting. Number 2, John McAfee, antivirus creator, was found dead in his prison cell. I thought that was interesting for a few points as far as marketing news of the week. Number 1, it's sad. I mean, anytime someone passes, I'm not making light of it at all, but there's a few things. I know you'll talk about some of the conspiracy side of it. Mine is more nostalgia, remembering as when the CDs started showing up in the mail.
Yeah.
That you activated, like the marketing tactics that I was kind of noticing even when I was like, I don't know, 13, 12, whatever it first started. I might have been younger than that when those CDs started showing up for antivirus in the mail, like literally, like the pioneer of like, direct marketing.
I always had the pop-ups in the bottom right of my desktop.
Oh God. I mean, just CD everywhere.
Game. Yeah.
Everywhere. And so funny to learn after the fact. Like, and I always was like, it was like the right time, right moment, because PCs had exploded, in popularity. Everybody was having one. The internet was kicking. And so viruses started like crashing computers and like right time, right place. But I was always like, is this really doing that? It pops up and it's like running through the window on the screen. Like, oh, it's doing these magical things in my computer. I have no idea what it is.
Like it could have just been a screen saying it's doing it and doing absolutely nothing for all we knew.
Well, according to him, who said he never used it on a single one of his computers. I read that. I'm not sure it did, but it removed like one file, like
amazing.
But and I know there was these conspiracy. He had tweeted, he was always a little strange.
Yeah,
that's probably putting it mildly.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit more about his life story, and like he was running from like in one country, his neighbor died, and he had like fled that country because of allegations of that, and he always denied it, and like was always kind of aggressive, and he was in jail for tax evasion because he didn't want to pay taxes. Can understand it, I guess, but maybe not actually invading. But yeah,
who wants to pay taxes?
Oh, no one.
but we do have to if we want to live in America.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he had a tweet from a long time ago that's blowing up again. He had $ whacked or schwacked, if you will, and he's saying like getting a lot of subtle hints that America wants to make me kill myself. So he got that just as a little signal, like if I show up dead, it wasn't me. So who's to say? We'll see.
Interesting.
Or we won't see, actually.
Yeah, exactly. We won't see, but definitely. And I didn't realize he was 78 or 77 or something. He's older than I realized.
Yeah,
I think he either really took care of himself or had a lot of plastic surgery. Like, because last photo was like he looked like he was like 55 or something.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna spend more time like researching more about what he was doing in those later years, because
there's gonna be a movie about him.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
It was all these random stories of like, oh, he did this in this country and this in this country. It's like, dude was just hanging out, just going places.
Hanging out. Well, you made a few $1 billion on those CDs, and people like, being convinced they needed to, how many people like didn't really need it, like added that virus thing. And all it did was like, I feel like I remember adding it, like bogged the computer down. Yeah. It's like one more program. Back in the day, you had like 44 megabytes of memory anyway, and like that whole CD was like 22. Yeah, so it's like we'll get rid of the virus, but we're gonna slow the hell out of your computer.
I feel like that name is now just kind of like it's like the memories of you had Internet Explorer, you had Microsoft Paint, you had McAfee, McAfee. Whatever.
Oh yeah, it was one of those things. Then every computer started coming with it on there, and you could activate it or whatever. Yeah. It's like antivirus, more like anti-memory. Because you don't have any after you load it.
It took up he's in our memory, but took up your computer memory.
Yes. So there was an article I want to notate from AdWeek. Jerry Dischler. I want to give Jerry some credit here from his 5 takeaways from the Google marketing live stream this week. Any summation of what you saw there? What you think we're being told by the powers that be at Google, like we need to do to maximize our marketing on their platforms?
Yeah. My overall takeaway is use the tools available. Like I don't think you're going to like find some magical pathway without using the stuff available. And like, it's one of those things, like if they have it available, might as well test it out and like use their automations, use their platform, like expansions, their everything else, because it just gives you more opportunities to get in front of your customers.
Yes,
exactly. We're always looking for more of those.
Yes, ding. I will say this: I did see, and I haven't done it yet because you manage most of the ads now, thank God. At least setting them up and running them and making them optimized in your team. The biggest thing that I saw that I think needed improvement. This is very tactical. God, it was painful setting up YouTube ads.
Yes.
I mean, I remember like even a year ago, like we'd have clients or something, and I'd be in there like trying to set something like, oh, I'm going to play around with this. I mean, how fucking hard is it to set up a YouTube ad? I heard they've made it easier, so they say you can now do it on your mobile device. I'm like, mobile device? I couldn't do it on a desktop with 4 screens.
Yeah, I remember I finally like got through and set it up, and it ran, and it's just like, after all of that, like I might as well have just done something else. Like
I know, it's like painful as hell. I mean, so supposedly that's gotten better. I hope so. Like it's so funny. We're doing automation and AI, and we're sending people to Mars, but it takes 4 hours to set up a YouTube campaign.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I'm not lying here, right? It's painful.
Yeah. It's,
we set up like programmatic across 27 platforms and that's not easy, but it's easier than setting up a freaking YouTube ad.
Just their UI in general, they have all these weird pages and like layers and stuff to things. And I think Facebook's ad manager layout is a little bit more intuitive than.
Yes, and it's not.
Google.
It's gotten a lot better. It used to be a nightmare too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Finally, building and maintaining a brand takes more than simply maintaining sales. This was a Nielsen report. Nielsen, great for insights and research. If anyone out there is in marketing, advertising, no matter who you are, really smart people at Nielsen. You're an agency, you know who Nielsen is. But if you're just small to medium business, go follow Nielsen. Lots of good tips. This is the go-to for industry knowledge, research, reports. They have a great podcast report out, so I want to give them a shout out as an agency. Really appreciate all the insights we get from them. But this was interesting. This goes right at the heart of a lot of things that I talk about with companies and brands. We've gotten so performance and sales driven, which I understand. Every CMO's got their feet to the fire for driving ROI. Totally get it. But the importance of a diversified marketing platform and approach, not forgetting the top of the funnel and those brand driving tactics.
Gotta feed the funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll run out and then you're stuck just scraping at the bottom of the barrel.
Exactly. And I think people forget that it's a sales funnel or cycle or whatever you want to call it. Whoever's thinking you want to buy into, it's a cycle, it's a cyclical, it's a circle, it's a ever change, whatever you want to call it. The point is you have people at different interest points. You're not making a sale every day. And so brand building, awareness driving, larger audience building tactics are so important with keeping an active funnel that will convert at all levels is so important and so lost today because we just want to go, okay, here's a product, here's a price point, and here's how it's going to sell. And any insert gimmick here for that. And we get it. That's important. And we have e-commerce clients and we're fighting that battle every day. But until you create broader awareness and purpose and meaning behind your brand at scale, it's real hard to convert sales every day.
I guess a simple rule of business. If you want to be a long-term business, you got to do long-term marketing. If you want to just stick to the short-term conversion only and not do brand positioning, no purpose, sorry, but you're going to be a short-term business.
You are. And I put my money where my mouth is. This podcast for Radical is a brand builder. You know, we're the top 150 now in business and marketing specific podcasts on Apple, but it's taken 3 years. But this is a brand builder for Radical. You know, people get to know us. They learn our insights. They like the guests that we come on. It's not an ROI driver day one, but it's building the top of the funnel.
Right.
And now about every other client that hires us mentions the podcast.
Yeah.
And it took 3 years for that to happen, and it's going to continue to grow. But this is a brand building mechanism for us. Exactly. And so it's like you have to understand that as a business. And I know it's painful because everything's so margin driven and investment driven. So you're either startup, you got no money, it's just you, and you're scrounging it together and you need to make sales, or you're investment driven because you've brought in all this investment and they want sales immediately. It's hard, but you've got to fight for the long term and not focus just on today. Because if you do, you're going to be sorely disappointed. And it's in this study, in this report, which I really encourage people to go download. We'll have a link to it and notes in the footnotes of the episode. it really calls out the importance of that top of the funnel driving tactics.
Definitely.
So, yes, there is your marketing and advertising news for the week. Appreciate it, Josh.
Always good. Always good to be here.
Always good. We hope everyone's good out there, wherever, however, whenever you are. Be safe, and you know where to find us. TheRadcast.com, at the.rad.cast. I'm at Ryan Alford on the platforms, and at Josh Chill on Instagram for Josh. Yep. Go look Josh up, give him a follow. We'll see you next time on the Radcast.